Welcome to the MineSanity podcast. What's up, guys? My name's Eric, aka Azrael Eternity, and welcome to the MineSanity podcast. With us today, we have our normal cast and crew. We have myself, Azrael, and we have Gravewalker.
Hey.
Banjo Bates.
What's up?
Stevie.
Hello.
And returning guest, Sigcore.
Hey, guys.
Who's making this pretty much like a regular thing now. It's kind of nice.
Well, unfortunately, last time for the next few months. So.
That's all right.
Oh.
It's good to have you on.
Thank you.
Sergeant Munch, I guess, talked to Grave about possibly trying to get on here one time. So
Yeah.
It'll be nice to get. It's nice to get more people on there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're gonna ever let Zippy on.
Mm.
We already have Banjo. We don't need anybody to constantly be butting in.
You raised a good point.
Well then.
All right. So, big topic of discussion for this coming week is something that we have titled Survival Wars. And what Survival Wars is, in a nutshell, is Grave turned on the scoreboard, and it has the scoreboard tracking deaths and murders, what he calls it, which is just player kills.
Yeah.
The goal of the game is that it's a week long for everybody that wants to participate, which right now it sits at 4 people. Or, Stevie, you going to be 5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 5 people, the 5 of us that are here in the podcast. Everybody's bet a diamond block. Well, Stevie still has to, but...
do that.
And what's going to happen is it's going to track all of our deaths and all of our kills. If you die, regardless of reason, you gain 1 point to your death score. If you kill another participating player, you get -1 to your death score. The whole point of the thing is that at the end of next week, or the beginning of next podcast, whoever has the lowest death score wins and wins everything. So 5 diamond blocks.
Which is quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, which is quite a bit. That's 45 diamonds. So this is a big deal.
Yeah, especially for some of us.
Yeah.
A block of diamond was like a third of what I had at the time.
Yeah. Though I saw your recent episode, you had a fair bit.
I went caving and I found Fortune 3 rules. So
Yeah.
That's true.
Which
my mind's surrounded by ravines.
I have to say, I love the arches for your. I love the arches for your mines. I saw those in your video, and you were hemming and hawing about it, and it's like, no, that looks amazing.
Oh, wait till you see the next video.
Okay.
So
in the video, I'm gonna put it in the link dump for our little teaser trailer thing for it. I kind of went over all of the basic rules, and we needed to iron out some of the other rules regarding safe zones, if there are any, and I think that there should be for obvious reasons, and any sort of spawn protection, and any other little details. So the things that I have listed, safe zones include approximately a 20 block radius around a home bed if it is known. And that meaning that if it's in the open, apparent, this is where the person's home bed is, or if they have a specific bedroom area in their house. Mine's hidden, so you guys don't have to worry about that. Grave knows where it is. Also, the entire end and any non-hub nether location.
More or less to prevent item loss.
Yeah, it's so that we aren't hunting each other in the nether and shit goes flying into lava.
Yeah.
oh, thank God.
Also avoiding areas that have lava in them, so the nether mall would also be advised.
Yeah.
Because of that big lava fountain.
It looks pretty.
Yeah. Looks
So
deadly.
That's it for as far as safe zones. Any other ones that we want to add to it? Or does that
I
pretty
can
much
think of.
cover everything?
Nothing I can think of, at least.
One question though: what if you kill somebody with a booby trap?
It's still going to count as a death for theirs, but you won't
Okay.
get the murder,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Which
Yeah, that's true. I don't
really helpful.
Actually, I'm thinking what I might do. I know for me personally, I'm gonna be more or less recording anytime I'm on the server, just
Yeah.
so I have footage of any time I die and or get a kill. So, I
Same.
mean, if it's known that it's your trap that kills someone, I could probably just add that to your score. But that would just be work for me.
Well,
I don't have a hard drive big enough to do that.
Yeah. Well,
Well, essentially, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Essentially, I'm just going to be recording in like hour chunks, and if nothing interesting happens, just delete all those files.
yeah.
Yeah,
If
that's
something
true.
interesting happens, get the entirety of it and then cut there. That way, I know when to stop, and then just keep going.
Yeah.
But
That's not
like I
bad.
said, if it's known that it's your trap that kills someone, I'll add that on, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Spawn protection, so that people have an opportunity to re-equip. It's going to be a 60-second spawn protection, so just gives them a little bit of time to be able to get their stuff and re-equip to get back into battle.
After all their good gear is not missing, or is missing.
That's the other point, was I had made the suggestion that everybody carry 2 normal chests, so that in the event that they kill somebody or are killed, that person can put the chest down, put all of the other person's stuff in it, and that chest becomes a safe zone temporarily.
That's an excellent idea.
That way the people can, in that 60 seconds or so, be able to run back, get their stuff, re-equip, and hightail it. So I'd also advise that, don't camp around a chest that you just placed, because that'd be messed up.
That'd be kind of evil. Oh, look, he's equipped. He's still in the chest, but I'm gonna kill him.
Smack, smack, smack.
Well, you have down here such chests become safe zones, so
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, these are all like advisements
Yeah.
that I have written in here. But I think those are all good ideas for things that we should implement for this, so that it's a little bit more fair, a little bit more balanced.
Yeah.
Double teaming is allowed. I decided, even though it's not in my best interest.
after that video, which I watched 18 to 20 times and laughed my ass off every time the end came around.
Oh yeah, God,
Yeah,
that I love it.
Yeah.
that was good. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
So Survival Wars. What are you guys' thoughts on the whole concept?
I think it adds just a sense of oh look, Graves here. Oh crap, Graves here. Considering he
Yeah.
tried to sneak into my mine yesterday.
Hey, I was just coming to check it out. Sneakiness was just get you prepared. Yes, that's what it is.
Well, considering I heard the splash when you hit the water.
Yeah.
Oh, although I admit, when I went to sleep this morning, I had like 4 trap ideas in my head, and one of them included that entrance, by the way.
Oh yay! Getting rid of the water.
A lapis block.
No,
underneath
because that's
it.
visible.
Lapis block. That would be what I would do, is a lapis block underneath.
No, or lava underneath the water.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not using lava.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, it's in your house. I mean,
No. We said the same as
same as Frank.
prank wars. So no lava, no TNT,
Yeah.
no griefing.
Yeah.
So
I kind of. Sorry.
Yeah, you can grief your own house all you want, but anyhow.
Banjo.
Yeah, I kind of see it as like a mini ultra hardcore.
That was essentially what I was going for with the idea.
Yeah.
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 It's
something
instead
that
of.
It's something that we don't have to sit and play for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
Instead,
'cause-
you play for a week.
Yeah. Because
Well,
I mean,
not
it's hard
straight,
enough
but-
to make sure that everybody's here for the podcast for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Because I mean, none of us do this professionally. No, none of us are.
No. Wouldn't that be nice?
But if the fans really want to start hitting like buttons and sub buttons, I would happily quit my freaking job, and I love my job. But...
I don't. I'll quit my job. If
Oh,
I can get it.
no, I do love my job, but if I could make the same money doing this that I do there, heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
Heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely. I can't imagine a person that wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to play video games for a living and put videos on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. No complaints.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the likelihood of that happening, I mean, the MineSanity network coffers are currently sitting at, I think, 6 cents in ad revenue.
Rolling it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I've gained like 12 subscribers since I've hooked up with you guys.
Well, that's good.
In like the last 3-4 weeks, yeah. So I still want to know what the hell happened. In one weekend I went from 15 to 85.
Wow.
And I was and it was just like, what the heck happened? Who? What? I put a message out there. I'm like, how did you guys hear about me? And nobody said nothing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. So
Complaints? None.
none whatsoever.
More, please.
I mean, currently, there's 3 of us that have more than 200 subs on the server. Me, Stevie, and King. Ozilk has 94. Banjo has 75. Sig has 94. We got a good subscriber base. I mean, even Grave has more subscribers.
I have a few.
He's up to 35. And I think when we started doing MineSanity as a group thing, I think you had like what, 12?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's funny because I remember when I first started, which was middle last year. You're doing these videos, and then initially you're kind of like, oh, look, I got 2 subscribers, and one of them was my kid. I mean, so it's like, and you go through this. What am I doing this for? And I do it because it's fun for me.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it keeps me in Minecraft.
Yeah.
I do it for the fame. Pure fame.
Of course you would.
God. No, I actually find a lot of enjoyment in going in and editing for 3.5 hours and then coming out and having something nice. And then I scrap it because I think, I tried too hard on this. No, something turns out really wrong, and then I think, oh, I'm never going to do this again. And then I just scrap it because it has like a big black spot in the middle or something, and I have to re-render it, and it's bleh. But it's fun.
It's fun.
I've been doing YouTube actively for like 5 or 6 years now, from one thing to another, and frankly, I have probably more fun doing Minecraft videos than I have in any of the other videos that I've done. And I've run the gambit. I used to do RuneScape videos, I used to do Call of Duty videos, I used to do, all sorts of different stuff. And Minecraft I always have the most fun with, because during it, I'm always doing something interesting and being creative in a way that, Call of Duty doesn't really allow you to be. Or RuneScape doesn't really allow you to be, because you're trying to achieve certain things, and it's very set parameters as far as what you can do, because it's such a limited capacity. Minecraft, you're literally building your own world, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I enjoy my amusement park so much, is because I have so much freedom for it. Like I'm gonna be building a pirate ship for the amusement park.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. You need to get some villagers on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole island is planning on having villagers all over it.
No.
What you should do is build 2 pirate ships and then make that a mini game, like pirates. God. You just have a bunch of bows.
No TNT.
No TNT, but you just have a bunch
TNT
of bows and arrows, and then you just shoot at each other. That would be kind of fun.
The place that I want to put it, there's only going to be room for 1, so.
Is it in the middle of Bra Island and the main island?
Yes. Everybody, loves referring to it as Bra Island, or the Bra Peninsula, or whatever.
Yeah.
That reminds me. Can I move your forest?
Oh yeah, you can chop it down. It's just sitting there right now.
Well, no, I was just going to move it to the side of the castle because that's the perfect spot for the maze.
Yeah, I'll chop it down.
Oh, you
When
got there's time yet. I'm still
No, I
gathering
know.
resources.
I'm still like it's just sitting there right now. Like I just haven't bothered to cut it down.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's get into topics. It's because we're sitting around BSing too much. So the first topic, I thought this was funny. Twitter receives a patent for Twitter. Twitter actually got a patent for itself. They said that it's unique enough that it can receive a patent after, I think they were trying to get it for like the past 5 or 6 years.
6. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 years. Filed back in 2007.
Our whole patent system amazes me. And confuses the hell out of me. It's amazing what they will and will not give patents for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they gave a patent for what was it? It was like a stress ball that was nothing different from like the mouse pad I have right. Well, not mouse pad, but like wrist pad I have in front of me.
Yeah.
And now they can't make these anymore because it's patented, unless they buy the patent.
Which they can sell for whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's the reason people do it. I mean,
there's people that just buy patents to have patents so that eventually somebody might need that patent.
Yeah, and then they got to cough up some cash or get sued.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's just like all the companies that buy up music rights and do all the content ID claims on YouTube.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Somebody had messaged me on YouTube, or maybe a week or two ago, asking why my videos haven't gotten flagged for the music that I use, because I use Kevin MacLeod, I use Incompetech, and
Right.
I was just
That's what I
like,
use.
it's free to use. You can't get content ID slapped with that.
Yeah.
He's all I did.
Yeah.
Is all, well, you need to contact him and say, look, I'm getting content ID'd. Because he's not going to try to claim it as long as you're putting information.
Yeah, I mean
about him.
that's what like every YouTuber uses, or at least every Minecraft YouTube user. I know that's because that's why I found out about him, because people were talking about him like, oh look, free for use content. And he says, go ahead, use my stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Well, he actually made a whole like file of what is it, like 7 or 8 songs just for game developers. Like they were the old Mario style 8-bit.
I have a couple of those that I downloaded.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And he made it for free.
Yeah. I mean, I donated to him. I mean, to help the guy out.
Yeah,
what's nice is he's probably making a good amount of money off of either ads on his site and donations. So yeah.
And
if I had the money, I would donate. just because.
It helps if you have a job.
Well, yeah. Helps.
Anyhow.
Yeah. This one I tossed in here because I thought it was kind of interesting. CDC says 1 in 50 children has autism. And that is a scary number.
Okay. I used to work for a psychiatrist firm,
Mm-hmm.
and those numbers can be skewed because they changed the definition of autism.
Gotcha.
Oh, fun.
Which they did do this year. They did change the definition of autism.
That'd be why it jumped so much.
Probably. Now, not saying that 1 in 50 kids doesn't have some form of autism. It's just with all the crap we got floating around today, and a lot of kids. My wife's got a cousin who's got 3 kids, and all 3 are autistic. They had twins the second time around, twin girls, and it's but the factors that can it could be anything from the food you eat to anything, tons
Yeah.
of stuff. They're not sure.
And on the note of it not being possibly an accurate number, it also says in the article that an earlier government estimate was 1 in 88, which is significantly higher. From a study that's many say is more rigorous, that looks at medical and school records as opposed to just parent saying yes, doing a checkbox, yes or no, my child's autistic.
Yeah. Well, just like all of a sudden in the late '90s, early 2000s, ADD blew up as
Yeah.
kids having ADD. One of the diagnoses for ADD is give a child Ritalin. If they calm down, they have it, or at least it used to be.
Yeah, give any child Ritalin, and for the most part, unless they have an adverse allergic reaction to it, they're probably going to calm down.
And I mean, having worked at a psychiatrist's office, I have seen children with ADHD and ADD, and if you really got it, oh god, it's a horrible thing to have to deal with, for the child and the parent.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of these kids are just kids.
And,
the
parents
has an attention span.
Yeah, exactly. The parents just don't want to take responsibility or anything. They just want, here, take this pill. It's going to make me less stressed because you're not bouncing off the walls like a normal child.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I don't buy into the whole ADHD thing, at least in the capacity that people present it now. I mean,
now, by that, do you mean like
how they're popping pills? I do believe that it exists. I don't believe that it is as prevalent as people are making it seem.
Yeah. I mean, I have a very minor case of ADD. I get distracted easily. No big deal. So
I think everybody has shiny penny moments. That's all I ever refer to it as.
I think as you get older, you can develop it.
Oh, I don't disagree.
From being in a scenario where you have to be aware of everything that's going on around you. Situational awareness, mainly, because I was in the military and stuff like that. You learn to, you're swapping your attention from place to place. And I think people pick that up, and I think it becomes a learned response, and that's essentially the definition of ADD.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I disagree that it's as prevalent.
It's
as
a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy.
They're trying to keep the kids down.
Yeah.
But I mean,
quickly drug them.
Gotta be it.
Here, let's in the same context as let's give a child Ritalin and see if it calms down. Let's have him smoke this blunt and see if if he calms down. Oh, well, if he has no reaction to it, then he must be a dozen different things that medical marijuana is used to treat for.
You must have cancer.
You must have cancer. You must have back spasms. You must have leukemia. Whatever.
All that fun stuff. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's kind of interesting because if I wanted to, I could go get a prescription if I wanted it.
Okay, I live in Sonoma County. That pretty much says it all. If you live in Sonoma County, if you live in Mendocino County, if you live in Lake County, if you live in Humboldt County, basically you can just walk into a store and say, "Hey, I need a thing that says I can have medical marijuana," and the doctor's gonna be like, "Okay, sweet."
No. Up here in Alaska, it's weird. It's actually in our Constitution that we're allowed to have it.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's in the Constitution. We are legally allowed to have 2 ounces on your person. Preferably in your house because you're allowed to grow it and you're allowed to have it. You're just not allowed to transport it. It's a weird little. It's how they make the feds happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're allowed 2 ounces, or is it 4? I think it might be 4 ounces. In your house.
Again, I'll say, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's Alaska.
It's Alaska. Now I have a security clearance, so I can't go anywhere near it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, don't need to, wouldn't want to. But I also have a condition that would, if I wanted to, I could go down, and my doctor would write me a prescription for it if I really pushed him. So
Yeah.
so I've got multiple sclerosis.
Ah.
So, but it also doesn't affect me at all either. So I lucked out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. That can be pretty debilitating.
Yeah, the fun endings can be blindness, paraplegic, or dementia. So
Hmm.
yeah, but no, I lucked out. I've had like one flare up, and it's never come back. So
Good to hear.
yeah.
Not sure. There's quite literally no transition I could ever come up with to go into the next one. But Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid feels that the gun ban will not pass. The infamous assault weapons ban that the liberal mainstream has been pushing for in the wake of Sandy Hook and many other shootings.
But have you
doesn't feel that-
noticed? I was just gonna say, have you noticed they've kind of let it die now?
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. It's just like there's no sense in pushing it. He said that if it went to a vote today, and I got this article back on the 20th, so 6 days ago. If it went to a vote on that day, they would get probably 40 votes or less in favor of, and that's with the Democrats having a majority in the Senate. Not
Ooh.
necessarily. I don't think. Do they still have a supermajority in Senate that they could just push
Yeah.
it through without any Republican?
I think they do. I know they have. I think they have over 51. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they need a 60 something, I think, in order for it to be, or yeah, 60. But there are 55 Democrats in the Senate, so it's kind of interesting that not all of the Democrats are for it, even though that's, gun control is their alma mater essentially.
It was a knee-jerk
Fair.
reaction. Is what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not to say that that the legislation regarding background checks and all of that won't pass. This is specific to the assault weapons ban, what they term assault weapons, which is essentially their way of saying semi-automatic weapons, because it was going through and banning semi-automatic rifles, AR style rifles, some semi-automatic pistols, some shotguns, some rifles that have detachable magazines. Like, the list went on and on and on as far as what they were leaving as legal firearms.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Thankfully, the pistol that I'm picking up tomorrow was not on that list, so. But it's still damn hard to find ammunition. But I've talked to several people, and apparently, it's getting easier and easier now that this has sort of come to light that no, the assault weapons ban isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
People aren't stockpiling.
Yeah. Well, I think people are still going to be stockpiling, but not quite as
Oh, well, yeah.
severely.
Well, you got to prepare for the zombie apocalypse now, don't you?
That is a discussion for an entirely different day.
We don't want to get on that topic.
As far as what people are stockpiling for.
Azrael, you're close enough to him. You can slap him, right?
You know what though?
Reach across state
I read an
lines.
interesting article probably about a year ago, and the guy's premise was, if you prepare for the zombie apocalypse, you're prepared for anything else lesser that's coming along down the pike.
And he is not the first person to ever think of it.
Yeah. And so I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool.
No, that's there is a forum that I participate on that's called Zombie Squad. It's zombiehunters.org if anybody's interested. That has a whole forum that has been something that they have said since, I think, when the site formed in about 2004. It's a funny way of presenting emergency preparedness, and I did a whole LP episode of me talking about emergency preparedness a while back. that if you're prepared for the zombie apocalypse, you're prepared for any sort of emergency that you might come across.
Yeah.
Except maybe the nuclear war.
Yeah.
Just shoot it out of the sky. Not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Hey, remember
Let's
that
get
thing I
a
said about
50 cal
slapping him?
BMG and just shoot it at the missile as
Hun,
it
there's
comes
a
down.
bomb. Get out the guns.
Actually, that would actually almost be worse than a nuke actually detonating at ground zero.
That was
Yeah.
an airburst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just spread that stuff everywhere.
Well, not only spread it everywhere, but more of the EMP effect that it would have on a much greater area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because EMP is probably a worse weapon against us than a nuke itself.
I could see that.
Because you could detonate 3 nukes over the continental U.S. Over in like high orbit, where it has just the right amount that it'll EMP the entire continental U.S., which is some very few spots that it'll miss, and we would be wiped out. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're all gonna
Feel
run to
good.
Sig's house. But it would essentially wipe out all of the U.S. because all of our electronics would fail. Your car wouldn't start. Your electronics in your home wouldn't work. Nothing would work, and that basically would tear apart our entire infrastructure.
Well, here's an interesting thing: is because I've been on some of those survival forums, and they talk about the solar flares. Then we have watched what is that? Preppers.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, Doomsday Preppers.
Doomsday Preppers.
And
that show's hilarious.
I know. The transformers we use in our power plants are only produced in Europe.
Yeah.
So, and if we have a bad enough EMP and they take out all those transformers, years before the power gets back up.
Yeah.
Decades. Like there's extremely few even like residential vehicles that are still capable of surviving it, mostly because for like pre-1960 vehicles that
you
don't
gotta have a carburetor.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, fuel injection, you're done because that's all computer controlled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
again, topic for another time because we could probably go.
Yes.
We could probably go on for.
So
quite a long
Mojang
time.
is announcing scrolls.
Yeah. Which I didn't know about. I posted this because I didn't even know about this game. They're making a collector card game called Scrolls for online, and essentially they said that the announcement it's been in development, but the announcement is largely in response to Blizzard, because Blizzard is developing a collecting card game based off of World of Warcraft. I don't remember what it was called. It's in the article.
Someone will find it.
Hearthstone. Heroes of Warcraft. So, another game for you to sink money into.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
No, I did Magic. I'm good.
Yeah, I did
Hey.
Magic.
Likewise.
I was very successful at Magic, but
I actually went to a few competitions and won on occasion. So,
and
how often was this occasion?
I went to 3 big competitions, and I did win one of those. And then the probably 50 or 60 of the little game shop.
yeah,
ones.
the little store event. Yeah.
So
I typically won most of the store events that they had if it was a pre-built deck competition, and I did 4 actual tournaments. One was invitation only, and I came in
nice.
3rd at the invitation only, and I had 1 first place finish and 1 7th place finish at the other tournament.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the first place finish and the 3rd place at the Invitational like almost paid for pretty much all of the money that I had ever spent on Magic.
If
Like,
I was allowed to bring my own deck, that's where I had the advantage.
Yeah.
So
Honestly, Zippy, he is quite ridiculous at that game. I'll say that now.
yeah.
It's
I haven't kept up
scary.
on it.
Hmm?
I said I haven't kept up on that game.
Yeah.
Oh
I
no, I haven't played it since '94.
Okay,
I
so you beat me.
messed around with that game about a year ago or so, and I stopped caring.
My
I
my wife's cousin, who is in his 30s, just picked it up recently. I guess in the last 6 months, and he was talking to me about it and was like, "Oh, trying to get me into it," and I'm like, "No."
I'm done.
And I'm like, I still have all my original cards from Beta and Arabian Nights and Unlimited. He's like, I'd like to look at those. I'm like, no,
No.
those
You're
are
not
worth
touching
a
'em.
lot of money.
Yeah, they are.
No.
There are certain ones, like if I remember right, there's one that I know people who had like 5 of them, and it's worth like $2,000 at this point.
Lord of the Pit,
Uh, Black
Nightmare.
Lotus.
Oh, I have one of those.
Those are worth a
That
lot of
thing-
money.
Sell it.
Those are worth a lot.
I'm pretty
The
sure I have one of those.
Lotuses, the Mox.
I'll be back in just a
Multi-lands.
moment, actually.
Oh, I got Moxes. You can't even can you even use them anymore, or are they just for
No,
collectors?
there's pretty much anything from like very early on that are all banned in
I know.
most things. But I mean, what are you gonna do? There was a guy when I played at a hobby store. He had a complete set of all the Mox plus Black Lotus and everything, and so we'd be playing, just screwing around with stuff, and he would have paper copies, like photocopies of his card, and be like, people would be like, oh, you can't use that, you don't actually have it, and he'd like whip out his binder and be like, there you go.
I just don't want to ruin it.
I don't want to ruin it. This is more than you make in a month.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
But I don't know. I've gotten out of collecting card games. I think the last time that I played was 2006. Whenever Mirrodin and Onslaught were Type 2, that was the last time I played.
I've discouraged my kids from playing too because it's just a money sink.
It
Oh my
is.
god.
It really is. Unless you're really good at it, it's a money sink.
So
Even then.
The only
yeah.
game like that I ever played was Pokemon.
yeah, and that was the one I had to discourage my kids. And I'm a Pokemon player. I have bought every Pokemon and played every game since Yellow.
I just like looking at the cards.
I think that's what most kids did. Oh, by the way, I'm back.
Pictures.
I didn't know
Did you
you were
leave?
gone.
Exactly.
You shouldn't have said anything. We would have never noticed.
Yeah.
Speaking of something that nobody will notice, Square Enix's president resigned, or is resigning.
A lot of gaming companies are losing people, aren't
Well,
they?
and it's for the same reason that the Sony president left. It's just for significant loss amongst in the company, but not necessarily something that's his fault. I guess the company started restructuring after some of its big title releases last year, and the cost of such restructuring is causing them loss of revenue. Expected to lose 10 billion yen, which I don't know. I don't. Let's look up for
conversion is.
money conversion.
I'm
converter.
working on it.
That sounds like a lot.
It's
even
a lot.
In yen.
Even in yen,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see.
Well, okay, so it's basically 1 yen is 1 cent.
Okay, so that 10
So-
billion yen, that would be $100
$1
million
million.
dollars.
That's
Yeah.
still a nice chunk
Yeah,
of change.
That is a lot of money.
That's enough money to live for the rest of my life. Yeah.
No, it's not. But
Yeah.
living's expensive nowadays, dude.
Yeah, true. It is.
And you have a long way to go.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
Anyhow.
a Japanese company, right? Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would Well, the whole fall on the sword bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing that happened with Sony. It's, we're losing a lot of money. And the weird thing is, like, Square Enix is actually a really good brand right now as far as developers. Because, I mean, they did the reboot for Tomb Raider that just came out. And then in 2012, Hitman Absolution, Sleeping Dogs, Quantum Conundrum, and Heroes of Ruin. Hitman Absolution and Sleeping Dogs were both really good sellers. Quantum Conundrum and Heroes of Ruin I didn't pay much attention to, but
people still
Sleeping
buy Final
Dogs.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, and they're going to be doing another Final Fantasy coming up in 2014, I think they said. They're doing an announcement at E3 this year.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy will never die. Yeah,
no, it won't. It's like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They're never gonna let it.
Yeah, it's a cash cow. I mean, they're making money off of it because people enjoy it. So I think that's probably gonna keep on going.
I was gonna say I think I put 160 hours into 12. Final Fantasy 12. I think.
I don't think I could ever commit to that much time in a single game. Other than Minecraft.
Oh, those games are awesome.
Other than Minecraft.
How much time did you say you put into it?
About 160 hours.
Oh, okay. Then,
I got stuck somewhere for work for 13 days because of weather. And 7 of those days we weren't allowed outside.
That'll do it.
So, and I, for some reason, brought my PS2 with me. The only time I've ever done that.
Aren't you glad?
So yeah, so it was like 14 hours a day of doing nothing but Final Fantasy 12.
Those are good games.
Just for clarification, if you did 160 hours, taking 8 hours to sleep, that's still 10 days worth of solid gaming. That's insane.
Oh, I wasn't sleeping 10 hours or 8 hours a day. So.
All right, that about explains it. Speaking of people that don't sleep, RuneScape 3.
Oh god, not this game. Not this game.
RuneScape 3 is Jagex has officially announced that it's going to be released this summer in 2013, and none of us here play it. Thank God, because otherwise
I'm gonna repeat what I said earlier. Who plays RuneScape?
A lot of people. Like the official numbers are 220 million players since initial launch.
Which I don't understand what they're saying there, because that game came out a long time ago, and they're saying since 2011.
Yeah, the article's not. I don't think the article is quite right.
But nonetheless, there's a lot of players.
Even RuneScape 2 came out in 04 or 06.
Something like that, yeah.
It was a game. It was a game that I could play on dial-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was the first MMO style game my middle son got exposed to. He played it, and I was just I said, well, let me check this out, and I went, no.
we'll
After
never
playing
see you again.
EverQuest and WoW, RuneScape was like, oh god, no.
Yeah.
Well, I will admit that for a free game, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and there's a lot you can do in a free game, and they're constantly trying to make it better. So I think that it is a good game. However, it is an insanely big time sink, especially if you're a completionist and you try to get level 99 and everything.
Oh god, I actually know somebody who has an account that's fully maxed out.
Same.
Might I add that this is my one friend's grandma?
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Granny gamer.
Well, I mean, she's probably, bored most of the day.
That's all she did, and I was just no. Apparently somebody tried to buy the account off her once. Okay.
Actually, that's the only reason that a lot of my friends play RuneScape, to make money.
That's
and
so
you can.
They made?
They've made a good $200. You basically bought one skill for days, get to level 99 on something, and then sell it on a website. You get $30 for it, and do it again.
Yeah, it's some of the stuff that they do is it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
But I definitely played that game a lot longer than I should have, and the funny thing is that the main reason that I quit is I had stopped playing it because I was playing other stuff on Xbox. I think this was right when I started doing a lot of Call of Duty, and I went 3 months without even logging into it, and Jagex was just like, you haven't logged in for 3 months. We're terminating your paid membership, because you're not using it. And I was just like, you're right. I'm not using it. I fucking quit. So
I think the reason I quit was something similar. I got a membership one summer. I was down in North Carolina staying with someone in my family. I don't even remember. I got the membership just because I needed something to do. After it ran out, I was like, this isn't as much fun, and I'm too cheap.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Speaking of not cheap, Starcraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, was just recently released and sold 1.1 million copies in 48 hours.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised
Considering
either.
how long people waited for StarCraft 2 to come out, period.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I am kind of off-put by the fact that it's another $40 or $50 for this.
It's 50.
Yeah, you're paying
For
$50 for DLC.
Oh God.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
but...
if you look, but look at original StarCraft and StarCraft Brood War. You got all 3 campaigns for that one price.
That's true.
And now they're making you're going to have to pay $100 and something to get all 3 campaigns. Does that seem right to you? That doesn't seem right to me.
It seems right from a business aspect.
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with you, and I think that's definitely what the business aspect of things are now. Like, that's something that people are expecting. But it's quite literally $50 for DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Again, our
that's-
rant on DLC.
Yeah.
We
I
all love it.
Well, I mean, I'm a Skyrim fan, and I
Mhm.
bought the 3 DLCs they've came out with, and I thought they were, good God, Dragonborn was $25,
Yeah.
and it was well worth the money. I mean, it was a whole new freaking game added on.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was neat being a Morrowind player who has been to that continent in the game before, seeing it remade,
Yeah.
and seeing places that I've been before that are there now is so cool. But anyway, some DLC is worth it, some of it's not.
Yeah, this is definitely, like, I bought StarCraft 2 mostly because for single player, because that's essentially what draws me to games is single player campaigns, and I'm not going to be paying $50 for the other installments. I'll wait until they go down to like $20 before I go for them, because it's just not worth it for me to spend $50 for a downloadable piece of it.
Yeah, but you have to understand, just like RuneScape, there's a lot of people that really like StarCraft too. Like I know like 5 people that really like StarCraft. I mean, I've never really gotten into it. I never really saw it a very fun game. I'm regretting that now because there's a ton of DLC and all that stuff, and it's really hard to catch up in it because I've now liked those kind of games. But aside from that, there's a lot of people that like StarCraft and are very willing to get the DLC just to brag about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying that most people won't. Obviously, 1.1 million people in just 48 hours felt that it's worth it. But I'm not one of those people that's playing it competitively. I haven't played a single multiplayer game yet. For however many months I have had it, and I don't intend to, because I don't like, if I did, it would be a co-op game against computers, and even then, it wouldn't be computers that were very tough. Because I'm not playing it to be, get the shit kicked out of me.
That's what happened to me.
So,
I'm going to interject and ruin conversation, but I have to actually go, apparently. So I will talk to you guys later.
all right, see you, Greg.
Later.
All right. So, StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, 1.1 million copies in 48 hours. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. Last topic here, I did not put in here, so I haven't had a chance to read it, but apparently Homeland Security is seeking some 600 quote-unquote hackers for good to combat cyber threats against the U.S. government. They're trying to build what they call a skilled cyber workforce in order to defend the U.S. government from hackers trying to break in.
This is actually probably a brilliant idea. And I say that I am a network security professional. I've got several certifications, and the one I went down to a boot camp last year before,
Mhm.
and the guy who taught the course, if he wanted to be evil, oh my God, he could be evil. And we're talking about everything from getting into a system to social engineering his way
Oh.
into a system. Um, and social engineering, in my mind, is probably the easier of the routes because, I hate to say it, as a whole, most people are ignorant about computer security.
Essentially, social engineering, that essentially means is you're taking over other people's computers to do work for you, essentially.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay, I'm
Okay.
misunderstanding.
Okay, you work for a company, right?
Yes.
I call up and go, "Hey, I'm Bob from one of the land guys. We're having a problem in your area. Can you do me a favor? You know, what's the MAC address of your LAN, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or hey, we got a help desk thing here. What's your password?" And you'd be surprised at how many people would fall for that.
Yeah.
Or you get an email that has your boss's, from,
Mm.
it looks like it's from his email account. Says, "Hey, one last thing, do me a favor, install this on the computer for me, will you?" And it's a
Yeah.
Trojan or a backdoor or what have you.
Okay.
And that's social engineering. And it's scary. I read Hackers Quarterly, because to be, apprised of the new stuff that comes up.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. They talk about all that stuff in there, and good God, but grabbing up the students, they're probably, because you're getting a fresh perspective on a problem or a situation, not someone who's been in it for 15, 20 years and has a set mindset about
Mhm.
what's going on. You're bringing in new blood, new eyes, and it's a very good idea.
And I'm sure that they're going to be taking on like both sides of it. Like, okay, this is what we want you to break into.
Mhm.
Can you do it, and how are you doing it?
Yeah, it's called penetration testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue I see with this is, what if there's a malicious hacker that bypasses all of the security checks and all that, gets in and hacks the government from the inside?
Harder than you think, although insider threat is a huge, huge problem, but insider threat is probably the easiest to identify and catch.
Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, but most of these problems are caught after a lot of damage is already done.
Can be, but the government has a pretty decently segmented network. In that it's hard to jump from one system to the next. So yeah, you might affect, network B, which may be, critical, but you're not going to get into network C, which is also just as critical. So you might take down one area, and they won't be down long, trust me.
Yeah.
They won't be down long. And the truly, truly critical stuff, you're not going to get into.
Good luck.
You need physical access.
Mm.
You need physical access, and if they're giving you physical access to that, then you've been vetted by the NSA. You've had a background check that has pretty much crawled up your rear end and all your friends' rear end. It's
I've heard the term before, Yankee White clearance. That's essentially what it is. You're getting clearance so far up the wazoo and the wazoo of everybody else that you could go shake the president's hand.
Yeah, exactly. And I know a few people who have gotten that clearance. One of my soldiers got selected for White House communications, and you have to go through that
Yeah.
to get it, just because you can be assigned to the president's detail. And the NSA guys came down, and me being a supervisor came down and interviewed me for like 3 hours. So, asking a lot of questions about him, but also asking a lot of questions about me, because they want to know who this guy's been associated with for the last few years. So actually for top secret clearance, which is actually a couple steps below Yankee White, they go back 10 years.
Yeah.
Or 10 or 15 years, and you renew your clearance every 5 years. I would have to renew mine every 10. So.
Well, not so much. I wasn't thinking so much as like you go in to get information. I was thinking more of go in, plant a virus that can basically destroy the components of the, say, server, computer, or whatever the information is being stored on.
Right.
I've seen, like, my brother's computer a couple of years ago got hacked. He didn't have any antivirus software. Complete idiot, but anyway.
Yeah.
He got hacked, and his CPU overheated without him even knowing. It was a laptop, so it was basically silent. Basically, the fan slowed down, the CPU got overloaded, and kersplat.
Yeah.
It goes away. And of course, for the government, it wouldn't be hard to fix that, but it would take time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they cluster their servers. They've got backups. They're running. Trust me, the government runs nightly backups, weekly backups, and monthly backups.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, if
So
it's just
it's a hassle.
Yeah.
I mean, and it chews up resources, it chews up man hours, but which is odd that your brother got a virus like that, because most hackers aren't looking to destroy.
I don't know. I mean, I think it was a thing going around just in my local area.
Oh.
Because there was a couple other reportings.
Yeah. Some jackass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
jackass college student or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I can hack now. I is lit. I is anonymous.
But the government doing this and getting to these people before they become evil.
Yeah.
And bringing them into the fold. You've taken 600 hackers out of the malicious potential workforce. I mean.
Well, not even so much malicious. This bored.
Yeah, and a lot of that's what it is. Most hackers are. Gee, I wonder if I can do this. That's how it starts.
Yeah, they're IT guys that have too much free time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or just college students that have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your average high schooler nowadays. I mean, I've been playing with computers. My first computer was a Commodore VIC-20. And I've been around computers for over 30 years. And where I was in high school, and I was in the computer club, founding member. What we knew versus what some of the kids I know are capable of. It's like, what? How do you do that?
Well, yeah, but then again, that was a Commodore.
Well, no.
Different.
I mean, no. VIC-20. I mean, it wasn't. It had a magnetic tape drive. It took cartridges. But then I had an Apple, and then I've been on Windows machines since I was, in my late teens. So
yeah.
My first modem was 2400 baud, 1200 baud, 1200 baud. Yeah. Oh yeah. Logging into those BBSs, man.
But, so glad that I never had to worry about that sort of stuff. I came in the nice niche where everything started being easier.
Yeah, the internet evolved. But my kids know. My 8-year-old handles a computer better than I did when I was his age. I mean, just intuitively.
Well, yeah, but that's a different matter of, growing up with it and
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
but yeah, you're right. A lot of people are becoming more adept in the way of the computer.
And then you've got, your typically for quote unquote your older folks. Uh, God love her, my mother. She's quit trying to understand computers.
I
She's
wish mine would.
she's just like, nope. Yeah. I'm like, I sent you an email. She goes, I don't look at my email. Rich, my stepfather gets it for her. So, I mean, but she's 68 this year. So, I mean, she's just kind of going, yeah, whatever. Computers, yeah.
No,
So,
I'm in the same boat. You said 68?
mhm.
That'd be how old my dad turns this year.
My grandmother is 68 and she's fine with the computer. I mean, she doesn't, game or anything. She's not a gaming granny or anything, but
My mom's 63 and she can get her way around the computer. She can check her email and go on websites and stuff and download pictures and everything. But if there's any sort of troubleshooting that needs to be done, God help me, because I'm the first
Yeah.
person she calls.
Yeah, my dad works for Intel, so he's really adept with computers. I think he has 4 now. And my mom is a Facebook rat. The
Oh,
only
wow.
thing I can equate it to is a Facebook rat.
Okay.
And basically anytime she's on the computer, it's Facebook. I don't like Facebook personally, but anyway,
I think the last time I've checked my Facebook was 4 days ago.
Yeah, I think mine was, yeah. But I use it to keep touch with family too, because I live where I live and they live all on the East Coast. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just use Skype.
yeah, my mother doesn't understand Skype.
I would not even begin to attempt to introduce my mom to Skype.
Most of the people in my family don't even know how to turn the computer on.
Oh god.
That is a painful statement to
Like
hear.
they'll call me down. I'll be in the middle of something. Hey, can you turn this on for me? So you just push this.
Yeah, see, little button that says power.
Yeah, not that hard.
Wait.
It doesn't say anything. It's just a little dot with a line in it.
Well,
How does that
I'll tell
supposed
you
to-
now. That
It's
button
like
right there
that-
turns it on. Remember.
That is power.
Wait. Oh God. All of
So
my
it's like, what do you
friends
have?
I grew up with,
Alzheimer's?
We're all in the computer industry in some form or another, whether it's IT help, networking, whatever. And my best friend in the whole world got into it he was the second one to really jump into it pretty heavy, and we were testing him one day, and power supplies used to actually have a power button on them,
Yes.
a little selector switch. And we said, okay, so someone brings you this PC, and here you go. And we had flipped that power supply off. So it didn't matter how many times you hit that power button, it was not turning on.
My power supply has that.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
It's like I looked at my PC that I just bought, well, okay, a couple of years ago, and it doesn't. I was like, oh, that's a little weird. But it is amazing how and it's kind of my generation. The generation before mine is the dividing line when it comes down to computers. I grew up with them, so I've always been using them and stuff like that. And
Funny you should mention the little power switch on the power supply, because one of our local news channels, probably about 6 months ago, did an investigative report into computer repair places, if they're ripping you off or not. And they took it to the same computer to 3 different Best Buys in the area, plus 3 like little boutique sort of computer stores. And all they did was flip that switch. That was the only thing. They flipped that switch and brought it in, and just like explain, okay, well it doesn't turn on. And Best Buy, all 3 Best Buys, charged $50 just to look at it. And then one of the Best Buys said that they needed to replace the power supply and it would cost $100. The 2 other Best Buys were able to find it, but they still charged the person the $50. All 3 of the boutique stores found it within 3 minutes before the customer had even left the store
Didn't charge.
and didn't charge.
Yeah.
It was just like, that's ridiculous.
Well,
Well,
corporate America versus mom and pop.
No, absolutely.
you do realize that Best Buy is really going out right now, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's buying online. There's no use to go to Best Buy anymore except for to look at pretty computers and see if this is the one you want.
The funny thing with that is, where I work at a Costco, and we're in a big shopping center that's also has a Best Buy in it. It has a Target in it. It has
Wow.
an Old Navy. It has, it's a big shopping center. And the Best Buy recently cut its store almost in half, and sold that half to a pet store because they couldn't afford the rent anymore. They were losing so much money. And this is after they just recently had bought Magnolia Audio Video, which is, I think it's a California company that did home theater setups and installations and everything. They had bought that company, and they had bought one other company. I can't remember what it was. Pacific Sales, which specialized in home appliances. Also a California company. I think also in Oregon. I'm not sure.
Yeah, in Oregon.
Yeah.
Actually, the appliances we got, I think 2 years ago, we got them from them. Yeah.
So Best Buy acquired both of those businesses, and so they had to take their monstrous store, condense it down to half, and still fit those other 2 portions of the business in it, because it's it's Pacific Sales at Best Buy, it's Magnolia Audio Video at Best Buy, and all of a sudden now they had to shrink up their space just to fit everything.
Yep.
And our Best Buy also has has a 2-bay audio specialist for cars. That they have 2 garages to install for audio for cars also. So you're talking a very minimal amount of workspace that they now have.
Yeah, they showed 2 computers and 5 movies and 3 Xbox games and
Yeah. They had to take out the last time I went in there. They had to take out their entire music area because they used to have like guitars and drum kits, and they even had practice studio sort of sized rooms that you could try out some of the equipment. And they had to remove everything.
Yeah, I know a Best Buy. I think I don't know where it is. I can't remember, but it's somewhere in Oregon, somewhere close to the Portland metro area, and they have one of those big testing studios for testing drums and instruments and stuff. And it's interesting that in California there's that many cutbacks, whereas in Oregon there's almost nothing.
Yeah. Well, we live in not in a metropolitan area, but a large city area, and the space that they had was probably more than they needed, but definitely they have too little now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. That's gonna probably wrap it up. I think we're running over an hour now. So final thoughts, Banjo?
Not really. No.
Okay, Steve.
It was a good podcast. Tune in next week.
Sig.
oh, hey, let the survival games begin.
Yeah, that's right. Survival games start right now. So I'm gonna murder you all. That's basically gonna be it. I'm gonna murder you all. I was talking with Grave prior to the podcast starting. I was just like, basically all I have to worry about is more than one person attacking me at once. I think I can pretty much take anybody on one-on-one.
Unless you get hit with the rape train.
No.
I lost the rape train.
Oh,
did you? Oh, dang. Oh, in the nether?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I just have to stay away from people and just start firing at my bow.
Yeah. Well, Banjo shot me with his bow earlier to test the power of it, and not even in my best armor, it only did half a heart of damage.
Oh.
So I'm kind of not worried. No offense, guys. All right, so hope everybody enjoyed listening / watching for the podcast. We'll see you guys next week, and hopefully everybody. We're going to probably be putting out videos pretty frequently as far as like what our day is going to be like for survival.
One more note.
Yeah.
I'm terrified.
Banjo is terrified because he is my target. And I'll just give you guys fair warning. Team IDC is not working together, but they do have a ceasefire.
Aha.
So unless Grave becomes direct competition for me, he's pretty much safe. So you guys are my targets, mostly Brandon. So.
Set up my traps.
Yeah. Hope everybody enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Later.